Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good wherever you are. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Ken Kors here with another episode of Expert Momentum, and I'm really excited to do this one. I'm actually really excited, obviously, to do every one of these, but really today is one of the topics that I think is something that it's something you hear a lot about, and it's something that you know a lot about. And I have talked about this. There are only a few experts in the space that really talk about partnering to a big degree, including my great friends and partners at JVIC, the Joint Venture Insider Circle, who I've promoted here before. But I want to talk specifically about partners as it plays into events and how you work with event partners, because you can ask any 7 or 8 figure business or 7 or 8 figure speaking business or expert business what the most important piece of their business is, and I guarantee 9 out of 10 of them are going to say partners, and the 1 out of 10 that doesn't say it is probably going to say ads or something like that. But in general, partnership is the key thing that's going to make your business successful. And there are actually many different types of partners when it comes to events. Most of us only think of one in particular, which is promotional partners. And I'm going to cover all that stuff in detail. But as always, I'm super happy to be here. We do this every Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. And again, I know what I focus on is really the expert in speaking business. How do you use your marketing, your sales skills, all those different skills that you've got in order to grow your business over time, to be more successful, and in this case, to host a successful event. I urge all of you, and again, this could be an online event, this could be an in-person event, but really it's getting yourself into the groove of hosting events. Why? Because events are where the money is made. Events are where you get to have that longer, more in-depth connection with people. Events are where you're going to make your sales. Events are where people are going to get to know you. That's where they're going to get to trust you. And for the most part, again, anybody that's serious about being in the expert business, being known for what you do, making consistent money doing it, events are the epicenter of where those things are going to happen. In fact, I would say 99% of the people out there that are connected to me either on Facebook or Explore Momentum or in the Your Momentum Now community know of me from events, and you've seen me at events before. In fact, I know some of you out there watching this live, and even if you're watching this on the replay, post in the comments, did we meet at an event? You don't have to, and if you remember what event, great, put what event you met me at. But in general, 99% of the people I know, I've met through events, and 99% of the people that really become my long-term customers and the people that know me for the long term know me because of events. And so I'm going to really dig deep into this process today. I want you all to understand how events work, why events are so important, and partnerships are the key. They're really the key to your success. There are other things that you can do over time, and especially as you get more sophisticated in events, you can do a lot of cool things with ad strategy. You'll obviously develop your own asset by building your list and doing all those great things. But events are where things are going to happen. And as always, I'm actually setting my screen up. That's why I'm delaying a little bit, so that I have the ability to see your questions, to see your comments. Please give me some feedback. What do you want to hear? What do you like? I love that Julia's out there. Awesome. She says we met at a 3-day live event in Santa Monica. Very true. And I think, like I said, I think almost anybody that would be watching this or that knows me has met me at some kind of an event. And so events are where the action is. It's where things happen. And so let's talk about event partners and specific how it's going to work. I'm actually going to keep my box tiny for a second, but I'll shift it. And again, ask questions, give comments. The end of slideshow. The end. We started at the perfect place because I started at the end by accident. See? I can do silly stuff with technology too. So let me go ahead and get that started really quick. I was sharing, as you can see. There we go. So now I'll get the right slide up. So here we go. So obviously, for those of you who have never seen this show before, you're new to the Explore Momentum page, you're new to the Your Momentum Now community, you just don't know necessarily who I am and why it is that I'm qualified to talk about this, especially when it comes to events. Actually, events are pretty much my lifeblood. They're the thing that I've been doing the majority of my career, all different sorts of events. But so when I talk about the teams and I that I've worked for, whether they're digital teams or whether they're in-person event teams, which again, many of you watching this probably on an in-person event team with me at some point, I have worked with many different projects and companies, generated over $50 million in sales online and offline, small business training, nonprofit, personal development workshops, executive coaching, information technology, real estate, financial, stationery and art supplies, and I'm hoping to add some new businesses to this. I'm actually working with some new interesting clients now so that we can start putting together great events, great launches. But that's what I do, not necessarily to brag, but to go, why should we listen to this guy, and what did this guy actually know about the speaking business or the event business or any of that good stuff. And most of the time, one caveat I always want to add, because I have a lot of great partners here in the area, is I'm focused on the do-it-yourself model. I'm focused on hosting your own events, marketing your own services, developing your own programs, hosting your own webinars, doing all that stuff. So that is my particular area of focus. There are a lot of speakers and there's great partners that I'm actually working on bringing to you that talk about getting booked for paid gigs or keynote gigs or any of that stuff. They can do that, but I'm really focused on the do-it-yourself model, which a lot of you are out there seeing me do. As always, I give a caveat on every session. I talk fast. It's just the way it is. I actually had someone that watched one of the episodes of these shows from previous weeks tell me they love that I talk fast because I just pack so much into the hour and they feel that it's not wasting any time. So I actually really appreciate that for those of you who like that I talk fast. But I talk fast. I'm kind of not that apologetic about it. I do want to cover a lot of information in this hour. If you have questions or concerns or curiosities or whatever you want to know about any of this stuff, then please make sure you ask them. I will engage. I'm actually in all the comments threads, so this is posted in the event. It's on my profile. It's on the YouTube if you're watching this on the replay. Wherever you're catching this, leave comments, and I'm super responsive to those things. Anybody would tell you, and even during the session. So stop me during the session. I know a bunch of you out there watching this live. So in previous lessons of the show, oh, there we go, we got comments. In previous lessons of the show at this point, I have made this comment, and I talk about this all the time on webinars and on all the various different formats, but really, no matter what angle you're coming at in the speaking and expert business, or really any business in general, Julia always says that same thing. She says, I'll breathe for you. Thanks, Julia, for letting me know. We let somebody breathe for me because they need to. But really, there are only three places that leads, sales, and customers come from. And those places are, you either promote yourself, which means you go stand on a street corner, you hold up a sign, you hand out flyers, you get in front of people. In the online space, that means you send out messages, you're on social media, you're posting consistently, you're creating content like this. So you're out and you're promoting. Then there's partner, which obviously I'm going to talk extensively about partnership today. I think it's the thing that has the most return that most people are doing the least. I think that everybody needs to be partnering up more. Chances are, even if you're someone that looks at yourself and you say that I'm a good partner and I'm someone that partners up often, even then, I would imagine you're probably not partnering up enough. And there are all sorts of reasons for it. Lots of people are scared to partner. They don't know what to do. They don't know what they need. So actually, by the end of this show today, and this is the promise, it's a big promise, you're going to know how to contact these people, what you need to have in place, how it works, and what everyone is incentivized to do. In fact, you're going to know what everyone's incentivized to do within the next few minutes here on this show. But partner, that's the other one. And then you pay for them, which obviously I talk about paid traffic. I talk about ads. I talk about things like that all the time. And that's something I'm going to cover a lot more when we start talking about marketing your events, marketing your programs, get really deep and specific into the ads. But again, you either promote, you partner, you promote it yourself, you partner, which means you have other people promote or help you get it done, or you pay for eyeballs, you pay for leads, you pay for butts and seats. That's where they come from. That's the only three places that leads come from. So then from there, partner is so important it has its own bullet. An event partner should actually have multiple bullets, and it should be broken down even more because there are types of partners for events that almost everybody forgets. There's partners that can help you in ways that can, both before the event, on site, after the event, making sales, all those things. It has its own bullet because it goes beyond promotion. Some people would even try to lump it in with promotion. But what partners can do for you can completely transform your business. And actually, I'm going to give I like to give golden tips on these shows for you, for those of you who watch this. I'm going to give a lot of those today that are specific to companies I've worked with over the years and partners I've worked with over the years. And partners for events can also mean a lot of different things. And so I'm going to start with the most obvious one and the most common one that everyone thinks of when they go, oh, if I want partners for events, this is what they're talking about. There's actually more than one type of event partner that you can be working with. In fact, I've delved down to 5. There may actually be more. I know how I am. I love to deliver stuff and then I think of new stuff later. So as I even think of new things, I'll make sure that I'll be out there and sharing those with you. But partners can mean a lot of different things. So golden tip. And I, print this out write this down, save this slide. I know that it sounds silly, but it's so easy to forget sometimes that no matter who your partner is or what type of partner you're working for, they all want the same thing. Everybody wants one thing, really. And we're not talking about, the one thing that everyone's always talking about. We're talking about one thing that everybody wants. All of us in business, we want the same thing. We want more exposure, we want more leads, and we want more sales. There is not a person. Everybody will give you a line. Everybody will try to tell you it's about something else. Everybody will say it's about mission or vision or purpose. And those things are important to keep you going. Don't get me wrong. You need them. You need to be incentivized. You need the hard work. You need the vision. You need the effort. You need all those things. But at the end of the day, the reason that business partnerships happen is because we all want the same stuff. We want exposure. We want leads. We want sales. So the sooner you can wrap your head around that and go, all right, in a partnership, the ideal is that we're trading. We're either trading exposure, we're trading leads, we're trading sales. When we start thinking about it and we go, and actually I might even add one more thing that's not on here, and that's skills or training. Like sometimes people want skills or training because there's a particular type of partner I'm going to talk about on today's call that's what they want. But we all want the same thing. So when we're entering into a partnership, what you're really thinking about is what can you bring to the table to help create exposure, leads, and sales for your partner. And then you're trying to find partners who will do the same for you. How do we get more exposure, leads, and sales? Because partnerships are all about combining our resources to create something we couldn't do alone or something that we wouldn't be able to do alone. But everybody wants the same thing. And no matter what anybody else tells you about what the goals are or any of that stuff, I'm just trying to keep it simple. I try to keep it real. If you like that I keep it real, make sure you post in the comments. Just post keep it real in the comments. If you like that I keep it real, please let me know that you like that I keep it real. But this is the real truth. We all want the same things. Actually, I'm going to post the slide again as we go through this. And then golden tip number 2. The world of partnership is driven by 2 things, just 2. There's all sorts of complicated ways of measuring it. There's all sorts of ways that you can complicate this and add formulas and do all that stuff. But at the simplest level, partnership's about 2 things. It's about performance and it's about commissions or rewards. And rewards can fall under commissions, but that's what partnership's about. Obviously, if you're partnering with someone, you want to create a result together, or you want to do something you couldn't do without that partner before. And the way that often happens is through commissions. It's through rewards. It's through incentivizing people. And in fact, I'm going to define that, because what is an event partner? And this is specific to events and specific to events that you host online or in person. An event partner is someone who is incentivized. So there's someone incentivized, and that doesn't always just mean money. Most of the time it means money, but it doesn't always mean money. They want your event to succeed. That's what this is about. So your event partner is there to help you succeed in your event. And when you have partners, how much do you think the likelihood of success in your event goes up? And that's a pop quiz, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it in person. Again, post in the comments. If you have partners, do you feel like you're more likely to succeed or less likely to succeed than if you didn't have partners who are incentivized to make it happen? Because again, they're getting those exposure, those leads, they're getting training, they're helping get commissions out of those things. That's what event partners are here to do, plain and simple. So let's break down the type of event partners, and then I'm going to deep dive into each one as I do on every episode here of Expert Momentum. So let's talk about our types of event partners. So promotional partners, that's the obvious one. And I also put AKA, also known as event affiliate partners or joint venture partners. And I'm going to really boil down each one of these into kind of a simple little format for each one about how we should think of them. But promo partners are the obvious one. Those are the ones that we go, we tell them, like Julia is a great promotional partner for me who's out there watching this today. I have many of you that watch this. Like I saw Scott throw me a like on the video. Though many of you that watch this are my promotional partners. You're out in the world. You tell people about me, and vice versa. I tell people about you. We have great promotional relationships where we go, okay, I want to, I tell them about them, or I tell you about them. They tell, their people about me. That's how it works, promotional partners. But then there's speaking and content partners. And again, I'm going to dig into each one of these, and I'm going to give a definition for each one. So they're speaking and content partners. There's coordination partners. And this one is huge. One of the people that I reconciled with at Joint Venture Insider Circle is someone that is a master coordination partner. And you don't know how good hosting your own event or how profitable hosting your own event can be until you work with a great coordination partner. And anybody that's been in this business for a long time and they understand events and they understand hosting these events and sales and all that stuff, realize the value of those coordination partners. It's why a lot of times, for those of you who don't pay attention when you attend an event, look at who's behind the scenes. Look at who's sitting behind the desk. Look at who's sitting at the sales table, or look who's sitting at the AV table, or look at the people running around handing out flyers or doing those types of things. One of the things I'm sure you'll notice is a lot of the people at those events are the same people. You'll see the same person that's sitting at those tables, that's quarterbacking those events. You'll see the same people. And so when you find those people like my great friend Linda, who I'll reference, I'll throw her shout out in the comments too. People like my great friend Linda, who's a phenomenal coordination partner, you'll notice that you start seeing them everywhere because people know in this industry who the great event coordination partners are. And they are partners. They're not necessarily employees. They may have their own companies, but in general, they do it because they want to either get more coordination gigs or they do it. Again, we all want exposure, leads, sales. Volunteer or on-site partners. In fact, Julia, I know who's out there, and many of you, again, who would be watching this, like my great friend Patty here in Boston, I met her as a volunteer or an on-site partner of the event. So I'm going to define that. And then finally, sales partners. So again, promotional, speaking content, coordination, volunteers, or sales partners. And now I'm going to break down each one. And as I said, I'm going to give you a little format for each one so that we go through what do they do, how do you find them, how do you talk to them, and etc. And I just gave you a tip already for those of you who want to find coordination partners for like how do you put your event on or how do you make sure that your event's super organized. Coordination partners are the masters of those types of things. And it is unreal how much an experience of an event can change, how much money you can save, how much more successful you can be on the sales end when you have a coordination partner who helps you with various aspects of your events. But let's talk about promotional partners first. So the definition of an event promotional partner: they help bring people, aka butts and seats, and that is, or you'll hear BIS, that is the industry lingo term, butts and seats. They're the people that help put butts in seats and they bring people to your event. That's what a promotional partner does. Plain and simple when you think about it. So here's what a promotional partner has to be able to do that. So they have a well-known name that draws. There are some promotional partners in fact, I didn't even put list first because a lot of the best promotional partners or best people at the highest level that are going to do the most work for you at this point are not necessarily people that just are doing it with their list. You'll have events, and you'll see this happen all the time, where you'll see an event that has a big name speaker. They have a big name keynote, they have a big name, they have somebody that was in some huge event, and so a well-known name that draws can add instant and huge authority to your event. And that puts butts in seats when somebody goes, oh man, Les Brown's showing up to this event, Mark Victor Hansen is showing up to this event, Justin Livingston, Callan Rush are showing up to this event, I need to be there. So a well-known name that draws all the time. It's why even on my speaking website, a lot of times it's just a list of names that I've been on stage with. It's not even close to all the names I've been on stage with over the years or worked with or been a coordination partner for, but a well-known name that draws can be enough to put butts in seats. And the butts in seats ratio is huge. So if you're struggling to fill an event and you're like, oh, I don't have a lot of people that have these other resources, maybe the solution to fix your event is to find a promotional partner that has a name. That's somebody that's well known in your industry and well known for what you do. And actually, again, revisiting, and I'm going to give you a script in a second here for how to reach out to them, you would be shocked at how easy it is to punch above your weight. A lot of people go, oh, well, I don't know that I could ever get a Les Brown to my event, or I don't know that I could ever get names like that to my event. You would be shocked at what happens if you just have the courage to reach out to people. If you just have the courage to reach out to them, to ask at this point, a lot of the time it makes astronomical difference in who you can get, and you would be shocked. In fact, Julia, I'll ask you that question if you're still watching this or you're watching in the comments out there. I bet on your summits and the things you've worked on, I know you've worked with some huge name speakers, and having that huge name can draw people to the event. And feel free, if you want to give yourself some cred in the comments, list those names. But that's how you get those names. A list. So that's the obvious one. I have a group of your potential leads, of your potential customers that you want to get in front of, and they're going to directly invite them to the event. That's your standard affiliate or joint venture type promotional partnership. Connections or resources in the area. There are some promotional partners that they may not have the lists themselves. They may not be the person that's assembling the database, but they're just really well connected. I know a lot of people like that. In fact, one of my best friends who I just did a program with over the last 30 days, that's exactly what she's like. She may not have a huge list of her own, but man, is she connected to everybody. So she's someone that can get out and that she can really get huge names. Julia says that's absolutely right. And like I said, feel free to brag about names that you've worked with in your stuff and even share that with people, because I know you can punch way above your weight. This is the key one. This is the one that gets me super excited that a lot of people forget about. An event or a speaking opportunity that's taking place before your event. In fact, for many, many years I worked with a company, and that was the primary way that they put butts and seats in their event. That was the primary way that they made things happen, is they looked at the calendar in different areas, or they talked to their partners and they said, hey, where are you hosting events this year? And they would say, oh, we're hosting events in New York and Chicago and Australia or whatever. And you go, great, I'm just going to, follow you around, and I'm going to speak on your stage and you're going to speak on my stage. And when we do that, we're going to, split the revenue. So when you make a sale, of one of my people, we split the revenue, or we split the leads, or we split the exposure, or however it is that you put that agreement together. That's really the most common way that it happens. You can look for people that have events that are coming up before your event and reach out to them to be potential promotional partners, or a combination of all of the above, and that's the best. So obviously your A-listers, your people that are the multi-million-dollar speakers in the industry, A-listers have all of these things. They have a great name, they have a list, they have connections or resources, they have events or speaking opportunities they do all the time, or they have some combination of all of the above. And you can work with any of those. And as Julia just says, I suggest you ask because you have nothing to lose, and this is great. She says, I've worked with big names. Hey, she put me as a big name. Thank you. Adam Urbanski, Rich Gurman, Steve Olsher, great podcast guy, Shamika Tankerson. So again, all you have to do is ask. And again, everybody wants the same thing. We all want exposure, we all want leads, we all want sales. And so if we're convinced, or you reach out to us to say, hey, great, I've got an opportunity that's going to get you exposure, it's going to get you leads, it's going to get you sales, or it's going to get you future, ones of those things, that's what everybody wants anyway. So, but these are the things a promotional partner has. And so the golden tip, and I just said it, I jumped the gun. Sometimes I forget what my slides are because I just get on a roll and it's just coming out of me. Like, I don't need the PowerPoint to talk about this stuff. It just helps me organize it. But at this point, remember, everybody wants the same thing. They want more leads, they want more exposure, they want more sales. And again, all you have to do is reach out. And here's how you reach out. So once we get to this, I'm going to give you a script. One other golden tip, and I brought this up as well. If you bring an opportunity to get any of those things for any people, you can reach anyone. You can reach anyone. And I just want to put that out there. Kevin Harrington, who I spoke on stage with for many years, who is a great guy, by the way. Kevin Harrington talks about that all the time. You can reach out to celebrities. That's how he got George Foreman to slap his name on a grill, is the fact that you can reach out to anyone and get them on your stage. And some of the speakers I've worked with, spoke with incredible speaking names that you never would have imagined. Colin Powell, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mike Tyson. It's like all these people out there that are strange people, you would be shocked because, again, they want the same thing that you want. And so if you create those win-win relationships, then you can make it happen, especially if you're hosting an event. So what do you say to a promotional partner? And I'm going to give you a little script for each one of these. Notice that I keep these, again, very casual. And so you might send this out to somebody on social media, or you might send it, to somebody in the organization to get started. But I keep this pretty casual. Yes, you can put together formal speaking kits, and yes, you can do all those things. And for certain opportunities, that's going to be necessary. But to start a partnership, this is the message I've sent that's worked the best. Hi, partner. My name is blank. So my name's Ken. I'm the host of the upcoming event, Expert Momentum. I think this would be an excellent opportunity to get more exposure, leads, and customers for both of our businesses. I think this could be a real win-win for us both. Let me know when we can connect about this. That's it. Like, most people overcomplicate it and they, oh, well, what am I going to tell them? Should I put in my commissions? Should I tell them what the event is? I might throw an event link in here if they really want to see it. But normally, this just gets the conversation started. So I very clearly stated at the beginning, I understand what the goals are. That we both want more exposure, more leads, more customers. That's what we're here for. So I just want to create a win-win. I want to, bring you to my event, help you promote my event, help you make some money, whatever it is. but it's that simple. Then when they start asking, or then when you have to provide the details, you can get into all those specifics. Again, I've referenced JVIC as part of this. I love them. They have a great curriculum that can teach you about being partnership, and I'll be talking about partners, forever, because partners are amazing. But that's it. That's the script. Julia, I would love, again, I know I pick on Julia because I know she's out in the chat and I know she loves these things. So I imagine your script is probably not far off from this, or you just talk this script to somebody. Say, hi, here's who I am. Here's what I do. Let's work together. So what do you need to have in place? And so I'm going to give you a good, better, best, because it doesn't matter if you have no systems in place and you're starting with PayPal in hand or any of those things. You can start working with partners right now. So I'm going to give you a good, better, best. So you're good. To get started, all you need to do is collect leads, business cards, referrals, whatever, on a spreadsheet. So it's manual. It's slow. It's not the best. But if you have to manually check in and keep a list and say who came from where, that you can start doing right now. So, you can do this. Another great way to do this is with Facebook Messenger. Have your promotional partner start a shared conversation with you. So if that person registers for your event, or they attend, or they buy something from you, that that they came from that person. The most critical thing, and you'll notice that about all of these, is that you are as diligent as humanly possible to make sure that when someone sends you a referral, or someone sends you a lead, or someone sends you a customer, that you give them whatever you promised. Whether it's commission, whether it's exposure, whether it's an interview, whatever it is, just give what you promise. Like, that is the perfect way to destroy your reputation when you take leads from somebody, or they give you an interview and then you don't give them the credit. Whether it's, and that doesn't even have to be commission. It's just the courtesy of saying, thank you. Maybe people just want to thank you for what they're saying. Like, sometimes that's great. If you have great relationships with people all the time, that's great. This good point by Julia as well. I would add that you should start by saying something complimentary or positive about the person you're asking. I love your work and have been following you for years. You're actually going to see that in my next script. Julia didn't realize that I had that prepared. For a promotional partner, you might include that as well. Totally great to include something complimentary about I love what you do, or I love your community. That also works great. I'm going to show that in the next script that we have as well. But to get started, just use a spreadsheet, manually track your leads. Better. One of the things you can do is, if you have a landing page or a website for your event, but you don't have an affiliate tracking system, which is the best, then you can create custom or separate landing pages for your affiliate partner registrations and sales, or your promotional partner registrations and sales. I had to do this for years before affiliate systems were really a thing. So I knew that people that registered with a certain link came from a certain person. And so that might be the same thing for you. You might say, for now, I just have to clone my event registration page, and I know that anybody that registered through /Ken or /Julia or /whatever comes from that person. And then that way you can track your leads and your sales that way. Or best, have an affiliate tracking system. That's something I'll talk about on a future call. There are many, many great, affordable affiliate tracking systems that will help track through to the sale. That say, all right, that person has a dedicated link that they share. And for those of you who are not partners of what I do here at Explore Momentum, exploremomentum.com/partner. This is your perfect opportunity to become a partner so that you can get your links to share at this point. And like she said, Rich says the best way to approach someone is to ask, how can I support you? Very true in a standard joint venture relationship. The only reason I'm being this specific is I'm talking about events and I'm breaking down the partnerships a little bit more. So yes, how can I support you is a great starter question. In this, again, since I'm doing an event and I'm focused on the fact that we all want the same thing, I'm just being direct. And I'm just saying, hey, I want to give you more exposure, more leads, or more sales. Like, that's what I want to do. How do I help you do that? So whatever works for you, that's been the thing that's worked for me. And there are many different scripts you can use. In fact, I will talk about that in detail in the community as well, what scripts work and that kind of thing. So there is no wrong answer. I just know some of you want to know what to say, and that's how you know what to say. All right, so let's talk about speaking content partners. These are another really underappreciated and underlooked piece of the event promotion world, or the event partner world. So a speaking and content partner brings amazing training, they bring reputation, or they bring content to your event. So in short, there's someone that's going to show up and they're either going to be interviewed or they're going to speak or they're going to have a prepared presentation. In fact, tonight I'm going to be a speaking content partner for my friend Scott and for his group. So I'm showing up, bringing my brain, bringing my content to his people. And in exchange, again, I get exposure, potential leads, potential sales. That's how it works. And then I'm going to do the same for Scott. He's going to come on, do this with, on my show or with my people. And that's what they do. So speaking partners are fantastic. So speaking partner, here's what they've got. Again, a well-known name that draws can be a great thing, or they just have a great reputation. So sometimes maybe you want to bring credibility to your event, or you want to bring, like a great example, maybe you want to bring someone with some credentials or some authority to a particular area that you're discussing. So you might want to get somebody that just has a great reputation, expertise that you don't have or that your audience needs. So I'm a smart guy. I know a lot about the expert industry and the speaking industry. I like to learn, so I know, I know a lot of things, but there are many things I don't know. And when I don't know and that my people need it, or if you need it here on Expert Momentum, I'm going to go get it and I'm going to have that person be a speaking or content partner. So I'll interview them. I'll let them do a presentation. I actually just did this with my friend Ellen Finkelstein last week, where she is an expert on webinars and came on and shared a lot of phenomenal information on webinars. If you missed that with Ellen, send me a Facebook message or send me an email and I will send you that interview, totally free interview, of course. So send me that if you want that interview. They have hot content or material for the audience. So, over the past few years, digital marketing or, really specific aspects of digital marketing has been a really hot topic. People want to talk about Facebook. They want to talk about Instagram. They want to talk about, something specific, and that your people want some of that hot new content. So sometimes you'll get a speaking or content partner just because they know something about what's hot right now. So that, people want to talk about that. I don't talk about that, but I'm going to get someone that does. So again, a lot of times you bring on a speaking partner for that. An event or speaking opportunity taking place before the event. So this is just straight up trade, stage for stages. This has been one of the oldest ways to be successful in the expert and speaking industry, and trade happens all the time. People trade stages or do stage swaps all the time, where I speak on your stage, you speak on my stage, and we split the profit, of any sales or of any leads that we make. Or, as I put again, a combination of all the above. Again, your A-listers, your most well-known of the well-known, have all these things. A well-known name, expertise, hot content, and an event or speaking opportunity that they're hosting themselves. But it happens all the time. So here's a golden tip. And this is something that a lot of people don't think about or don't realize. And especially for those of you marketers out there who go, or some of you out there might just be like, I don't want to do my own training. I don't want to do this content stuff. I'm not interested in being in front of the camera or developing content or writing blogs or doing any of that. I know some of you, that's who you are. So when you identify things that your people need, that your community needs, your list needs, your customers need, whatever, you can host entire events or summits or interview series in hot markets without being an expert or even knowing a thing about it. All that means you need to do is put in the work. So if you organize the people, you do the outreach, you host the event, you book the room, or you book the webinar or whatever it is, and you host all that stuff and you do the coordination and you get people the materials and you do the work, a lot of times that can get you hot experts that will do great things for you, and you don't even have to be an expert in it. So, and in fact, a lot of the great marketing companies, that's what they do. They didn't start off marketing themselves. They started off marketing someone else. And so in this case, that's very, very true. You don't always have to be the front and center expert. So let me reiterate that. You don't always have to be the front and center expert. You can be a coordination partner for a lot of these people, which I'm going to talk about later. Do all this work and just get the experts to come to you. You don't have to do it yourself. And a lot of people just don't want to do the work, which is why that doesn't happen very often. A lot of people just don't want to put in that work. So if you want to do that, it's a great option. So what should you say to a potential speaking or content partner? You should say, "Hi, partner. My name is blank, host of the upcoming event blank." Looks kind of similar. "I'm a huge fan of your work," as Julia was just mentioning, "and think you'd be a great fit to do a presentation, interview, whatever, at my upcoming event. I think this would be an excellent opportunity to get more exposure, leads, and customers for both of our businesses. Could be a real win-win for us both. Let me know when we connect about this. Again, pretty much the same script. The only difference, as I mentioned, I'm a huge fan of your work, of your content, of your podcast, of your whatever. I think you'd be a great fit. And again, I like to include, and you don't have to necessarily include the line about exposure, leads, and customers, but a lot of times if I'm willing to put it on the line, especially when I'm reaching out to a higher end partner and I'm willing to say like, hey, I understand, I want to help you grow your business, or I want to help support you in whatever it is that you do, chances are that's going to get people going in the right direction for you. So this might be another way for you to reach out and get the content that you need for your event. And again, this can be an online event or an in-person event. It doesn't have to be either. So where do you start? So who is your audience, or what is your audience most interested in getting? So if it's something that you don't provide, or if it's something that you don't know, you don't have to know it. You can go interview it. You can go get it. You can get other presenters. Speakers and experts are dying for exposure and sales time. We will show up to anything. If you put an audience in front of us, even if it's 10 people, sometimes, for the most part, all of us will show up because we want we want the exposure, we want the leads, we want the exposure. What does your audience need the most? So maybe you don't do all of it. Maybe there's an aspect of you don't do. Again, like I mentioned, my friend Ellen, who I partnered with. I have my friend Ron, who I partner with often on a lot of these things. I partner with expertise, even if it's similar to mine, to say maybe they do an aspect of things that I don't do and I want their help to do it. Who has great training or information in that space? Maybe there's just somebody that has great stuff. Even if I train on the same thing, if someone has something better and I find out about it and I go, great, I want to bring them on and interview them and they have a great series, that's great. And I'll partner with that person. Who is someone that you like and you would like to promote yourself? Maybe you just want to promote people because you like them. And this is something I do all the time. If I just like somebody, or I think they're really nice, or they're really good, at what they do, or I just think they're kind people or good people, or they're my friends, I'm totally willing to promote those people. And so for you, you should be looking at that as well. If you like somebody, that's plenty of reason to put them on your stage, or to have them at your event, or to put them in your interview series or your summit or whatever. Where do you start? That's where. So let's talk about coordination partners. These really are the glue, or they trade resources or elements for you. So coordination partners are the glue. They give you stuff that you don't have in order to make your event happen. So they trade space, they trade resources, they trade expertise, they trade technology. They're the ones that basically help make your event happen. So if you're somebody that's like, all right, I would love to host an in-person event, but I don't have a space, a coordination partner might be the first person that you need. It might be, someone to help you get the logistics pieces done. So coordination partner is going to have event space. They're going to have the technology to help your event run smoothly. So maybe they're a photographer or a videographer and they got the camera. Maybe they're an audiovisual person and they got the tech. Maybe they've got the projectors. Maybe they have the space itself. Like I work with a great partner who has the meeting space itself that we can go in and use and host an event there so that we have the physical location. Maybe they help with logistics or on-site support. And as I mentioned, you haven't experienced, you will experience this, because I think everyone experiences this, especially those of you new to this industry. Everybody thinks they can host their own event and the first time they do it. They're like, I'm going to do it all myself. I can't afford the help. I don't want the help right now, whatever. Everybody thinks they can do that until they do it. And then they realize just how insane it is to try to do those types of things on their own, especially if you're successful at the promotional side, or you're really focused on the sales or helping people take the next step at your event. Trying to do it all yourself is crazy, and you shouldn't. And as I said, when you attend other events, you'll see it's the same people in the back of the room all the time. Julia, I would imagine you would say that too. It's like when I go to events, it's like the same 3 or 4 people always sitting in the back of the room, many of which I worked with for many years doing what I was doing. But again, they bring resources, they bring space, they bring tech, they bring skills. So coordination partners are amazing to help you do that. And again, they are in it for the same reasons you're in it. They're in it for exposure, leads, or sales. So being a coordination partner could get them stage time. Being a coordination partner could get them future event referrals. Being a coordination partner might mean you send your clients to them to host their events. So, when I work with somebody that's really good on that front, when they're ready to host an event, I'm going to say, you're going to hire my coordination partner. They're going to help you get it done. And so those coordination partners are very, very incentivized. That's how they get the jobs. It's a referral network, just like any other referral network. So what should you say to a potential coordination partner? This is going to look really familiar. Hi, my name is blank, host of the upcoming event blank. I'm looking for some support in the area of blank for my upcoming event. I think this would be an excellent opportunity to get more exposure, leads, and customers for both of our businesses. Could be a real win-win for us both. Let me know when we connect about this. And obviously, I know I'm giving you a simple template for this. You might add a little bit about what you do. You might add your website. You might always compliment their business or what they do. You might say, I heard about you from so-and-so. I heard about you from Ken, and that's why I want to do what I do. You're not going to use this, verbatim, but you could at this point if that's what you wanted to do. Julia also says a really good event planner will have connections to all the people you need, as well as people who will sponsor you. Yep, that's another type of partner, with cash for time and stage, for vendor tables, for all that stuff. Totally true. Your coordination partners are plugged in when you start using them. And so they can make your event phenomenal. And I didn't even put sponsors in here. They're technically another type of partner. I could probably do a whole episode on sponsors. I actually have a really good friend that does sponsorship that I'll probably bring on an interview for that. So, again, simple. You just got to reach out to them. Then, where do you start? So what do you need for your event to be a success that you don't have? If you don't have a space, that's probably the place you need to start. Or if you don't have the tech online, that might be a place to start. So for example, I'm a coordination partner for a lot of people on the technical side of their online events. People need websites done. They need, they need their Infusionsoft set up. They need their copy looked at. They need whatever. And so I do that in my agency, and I'll do that if somebody brings me a promotional plan or something that's good enough a lot of the time, and I go, wow, there's incentive because I'm incentivized. Either I get an opportunity to take that stage or I do that. Julie says, please do a training on sponsorships. Yes, I'm not the person that's the expert on that. I have some experience, but I will definitely bring on somebody to talk about sponsorships in the future. So what do you need for your event to be a success? Who has that resource? How can you help them in exchange for them helping you? So again, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to ask these things. They can make an astronomically huge difference in your business, in what you do. And they can make you much, much more successful when you're willing to reach out and you're willing to try to do these things. And coordination partners are vital to the success of your event. And so are these, which again are another overlooked aspect of the event at this point. So volunteer or on-site partners. So these are the folks that help your event run smoothly, they create a great experience, and they help you make sales. A lot of times you'll just hear these partners referred to as volunteers. Sometimes you'll hear them called strategists. Sometimes you'll hear them called team leaders. Sometimes you'll hear them called your favorite friends. Whatever it is you call them, these tend to fall under volunteer or your on-site partners for the events who help you create amazing events, again, online or offline. And as I mentioned, I do this all the time in the digital space, but I do this all the time in the physical space too. I was a kind of coordination and a volunteer or on-site partner for JVIC. I've done this for many other events over the years just to help them create a great experience. And so what is a volunteer or on-site partner? What do they have? So they really just want to support you. They want to support you in your event. They want to show up to your event. They have a desire to learn how to facilitate or run events themselves. So a lot of times, these are people that want to be your MC. They want to sit at the sales table. They want to be in the meetings. They want to watch what you're doing and how you're running your event because they want to go learn how to do it themselves. And so a lot of times, your volunteers or your team leaders or your circle leaders or your, whatever, are going to be people that want to know how to do this for themselves, and they want to be part of it. They need to take a role to see how it runs. Again, you can do this with group leaders, team leaders, salespeople, MCs of events, speakers of events, and have them, be actively involved in the event or have them be flies on the wall. It doesn't matter how you do this. There's lots of ways you can structure these types of partnerships. They have a positive and upbeat personality. I bring this up because a lot of times people, especially because volunteers or on-site people, are going to be people that are interacting with your attendees. So if they're not somebody that's positive or upbeat, or they don't have the attitude that you want for your event, don't use them as a volunteer or an on-site partner. I can't reiterate this enough because I've had this experience. I've had this experience at my own events that I've worked over the years, as well as other events I've attended where they'll just put a warm body in that spot. And I'm sure some of you have had that experience where they'll go, oh, that volunteer was kind of strange, or they weren't very nice. So personality matters when it comes to this, is what I'm saying. So have a little discretion with that. Keep that in mind. or they have a need for your services or support. A lot of times, and I can't tell you this enough, a lot of times people are willing to be your volunteer, your promoter, your MC, your team leader in exchange for whatever it is you do. Like, I've done this type of trade in my business before, where I've traded promotional help or support or technology or whatever, or programs with someone else in exchange for service or support, and especially at events. This is really critical to get someone to come in and be a circle leader at your event. A lot of times that's something that you can get a volunteer to do, and this is why they're incentivized to do it. Some of the biggest names in the industry and some of the biggest names in the world started out as on-site trainees or volunteers or partners of other speakers. In fact, there's even an inside joke amongst speakers in the industry that pretty much everybody you've run into was a sales manager for Tony Robbins. So like, that's something you hear all the time in the industry is, a lot of the people who are out there worked for Tony Robbins at some point. And for those of you around the world or who you might not know who Tony Robbins is, he's basically the biggest name in personal or self-development speaking in the United States, probably many areas of the world. But everybody likes to joke that, oh, well, I don't know that I would want to be a volunteer. I don't know that I would want to be a circle leader. I don't know that I would want to do that. But keep in mind, that was the foot in the door. In fact, Justin Livingston at JVIC, when I just saw him, mentioned that he started as a foot in the door kind of guy and turned his partnership as a volunteer and an on-site person into his own 8-figure business. So that happens. And a lot of times it's just being there and being present and being helpful that can get you where you want to go. And most of the speakers I've worked with did volunteer or on-site partnerships early on. And so that's important to remember. So what would you say to a potential volunteer or on-site partner? Hi, partner. My name is blank. I'm a host of the upcoming event blank. I'm looking for some expert support on site in the area of blank. So this is where you have to be more specific. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to help with registration? Do you want them to sit in a circle with your attendees? Do you want them to lead exercises? Do you expect them to make sales or help make sales? All those things, you probably want to be a little bit more specific here about what you're asking them to do or what you want them to do, and what that position title is. So this is the one that was a little bit hardest to script, but you want to tell them, hey, I'm looking for volunteers, or I'm looking for someone to be in-room support for what I'm doing. Again, the same thing is possible here. This is to get more exposure, leads, and customers for both of our businesses. Now keep this in mind, and this is a great way to make me not like you. I'll post this. I'm just being personal. Let's just call this a personal rant because I think this is important. Some people don't think this is important. Be good to your volunteers, and I'm going to give that tip in a second, but there's got to be a win-win in this, especially if people are going to volunteer their time. And a lot of times for events, people are spending, 12 to 14 to 16-hour days on their feet, working with your attendees, helping out your people, doing the hard work, helping make the sales. Treat them right, people. Like, if you're going to bring them in, make sure you do that, because these can go bad just as well as they can go good if you don't take care of your people. So that's a rant, but it's true. So in this, again, be really clear and understand that, yes, the person that's doing this work for you, that's volunteering or that's training or that's team leading or circle leading or whatever it is they're doing, they're there because they want the same things. They want exposure, they want skills, they want leads, they want customers. So predict that's going to happen. Understand, who it is that's coming in and what their win is. What is the win for them? And do what you can to facilitate that. Now, obviously, you have to have structure and things in place for those things, but think about that in advance. A lot of times, maybe what you'll do with your volunteers is you'll do an interview with them, or you'll do, they'll have a short stage time, or they'll be able to talk about something, or, maybe they have an offer that gets built into your offer. Great events I've seen in the past have done this, where maybe all the facilitators or the team leaders in a room have an offer. And so when an offer is made in the room, or when a sale is made in the room, those offers are bonuses, or they're things that are included in what you're doing. I'm sure someone's commenting on my rant. Julia, keep them fed and hydrated too. Yes, your volunteers are not prisoners, but I know I bring that up, and I know it sounds silly, and I don't think any of you watching this or who like me would think that way, but it's amazing what I've seen, again, being in this industry for 11 years and understanding, how some people treat their people. And so you just got to be careful about that. It's an important detail. And so be specific about that and keep their win in mind too. If they're going to support you through an event, even if it's a 90-minute event, how are you going to pay back that support? And that might be financial, it might be leads, it might be bundling them in with your sale, whatever it is. Think about the win and think about your partner when you're thinking about the structure of your event. So who's great on-site support or on-site partners? People who love you and want to learn what you do. Like, that's the best one. They go, I want to host events. I would love to work with you and understand your process or your system. Your best clients a lot of the time can be great people. Again, personality matters. I'm going to bring that up as a caveat. I understand sometimes you might have great customers, repeat, loyal people who might not be the best fit for that on-site support role or that on-site volunteer role. So don't use those people. Like, again, make sure it's a personality match with you. Like me, I'm big energy. I'm a big, goofy, joyful person. I can't have somebody that's, representing me in a room that's not that way. Like as somebody that's crabby or negative, or not even just negative, just crabby or, irritable or whatever. I would think twice before I have that person interacting with audience in my room, because I'm trying to create a certain thing on the stage or during the event. And I want my participants or my partners to reflect me. Who needs the opportunity to earn some additional revenue? Sometimes you might just have some clients that are like, great, I want to help you make some sales. I want to be part of that. I want to see how you do it. And I want to help grow the community. Like a lot of times I have a community approach where people are with me. Once you join me, you're with me, and you're in my groups, you're in my coaching, you're with me. So at that point, you want friends. So you might say, like, Julie is a great, and we do this for each other. Julie is a great person that loves to bring new friends. And she says, great, the community grows. That means I get a new partner and I get a new person to work with or, partner up with. And, and they get the benefits of coming into whatever it is you do, whether it's a community, mastermind, program, product, whatever. And then who do you like spending time with? I know this is a big one. And someone that helps you be better. So the best types of on-site support or partners are people that you just like, that you enjoy spending time with. Over the years, when I was leading events and I was traveling all over, my favorite people and the people I still maintain relationships with to this day are people I just enjoyed spending time with. My best memories are of them at karaoke shows, or them at breakfast, or them, after the event making jokes, whatever it is. Like, those are my best memories, and they will be the best memories for you too, because, especially when you host in-person events can be challenging, they can be difficult, and you want to be around people that you enjoy spending time with. So if you're hosting the event and you go, man, I just don't love spending time with that person, don't ask them to be a volunteer or on-site support. And just be real about it. Just be real with yourself and say, look, I just know that's going to put me in the wrong energy. It's not going to help me get to the place I want to be. You want to be supported by people that are going to bring out the best you. So that's critical too. You have to keep your personality in mind. And I'm happy to talk about that more in future trainings and sessions as well. And so let's talk about sales partners. This is the shortest one because it's obvious. It's also the most complex. I'm going to talk specifically about sales at events on future episodes of Expert Momentum, because that's something we could literally teach a masterclass on. There are presenters whose entire careers are devoted on selling from the platform or selling on webinars or selling on those things. So we can talk about that endlessly. But a sales partner is someone that helps you make sales before, during, and after the event, directly or indirectly. So they're people that help bring in the money, is basically what it is. So they have skills in the area of sales, so they know sales. Ideally, they have some knowledge or collaborative knowledge of your area of expertise, especially if they're going to help try to sell something for you. They have desire to help you grow your business, and they understand win-win relationships. So by helping you grow, you're going to help them grow. And then a win-win reason that aligns with your event goals. So they understand by helping you succeed at your event, they're succeeding as well, because they become a referral partner or they just like you. And again, a lot of times your sales partners are people that they just love what you do and they want to be part of it. And I'm friends with some great sales partners I've worked with and who work for other organizations over the years as well. Sales partners are a great resource that you have. So again, what do you say? It's going to be very familiar. Hi, partner. I'm the host of the upcoming event, blah, blah, blah. I believe that this can be a great opportunity for both you and I to grow our business and make some sales or make some money together. This could be a real win-win for us both. Let me know when we connect about this. Again, I don't bombard with details up front. I have the discussion. I work with the person. I find out what they want. That's a great time for that how can I support you question that we're talking about that Rich brings up. And Rich is a master of this, again, who has lots of techniques. I'm sure a lot of this would be customized for you. Again, I just want to give you something to say so that you have the ability to say it. You can say this to a sales partner. And then where do you start? This looks almost exactly, in fact, it's exactly the same as your volunteer or your on-site people. So again, somebody who loves you and wants to learn what you do, somebody who's your best client, a lot of times can be your best salesperson. That can be a trap. I will talk about that in the future. So it doesn't mean your best clients are always your best representatives or salespeople, but a lot of times your best clients are your best salespeople. So if they're willing and interested to do that and grow the community, you should leverage them. Who needs the opportunity to earn some additional revenue? Again, especially a sales-minded person understands commissions. They understand revenue. They understand lead generation. So that's why they want to do it. That's why they're experienced in sales and know what they know. And then the golden tip. This is really the biggest one. Keep your process and your logistics as organized as possible. I know on previous episodes of Expert Momentum, I talked about my perfect preview organizer. I'm going to give another shout out to that. If you haven't seen that episode or you want my organizer, which says, how do I think about all these things? And where do my partners fit into these things? Those 5 different types of partners, where do they fit into these things? That organizer will help you do it. And the more organized you are in advance, the better off your life will be. I cannot tell you enough that if you don't have this stuff organized or you're not thinking about it, that you want to think about it at this point. And that's really the key. I actually want to go back because I realized I forgot to paste in my partner slide. So I'm going to show that again. Sorry for not pasting it in. Disregard my Okay, so it's going to be right around here. There we go. So I want to review real quick. Types of event partners, again, we mentioned a lot of them, and I didn't even mention sponsorships, which are another type of partner in an event. These are the people that will make your event successful. Promo partners, speaking or content partners, coordination partners, volunteer or on-site partners, and sales partners. This is the process. This is the 8-figure process right here. It's probably the 9-figure process as well. These are the things that you can do to pull off a successful event. Again, I can do a full episode on each one of these, especially the promotion side, and I probably will do full episodes on on all of these going forward. But when you're thinking about partners, these are the things you have to say. I know there will be some questions that come out of this for those of you that actually watch this and understand as you're watching it, man, I need partners, or I need to be thinking about that. You might say, how do I structure my commission? You might say, how do I incentivize people? Because some of you might not have people that are motivated by money. I work with spiritual teachers and stuff who have people that are not motivated by money. So you've got to work with them in a different way or give them something else to do. Whoops, I put my audio mixer on there. But a lot of you might have that, and so you need to be thinking about it from the beginning and really saying, all right, I understand they might be motivated by just spending more time or getting free programs or getting something like that. If you have those questions, ask them in the comments, send me a message, Ken Course, or send it at the Explore Momentum page or in the group. All those go to the same place, which is me, not a social media person. I answer those. So send me that, send me an email, anything that you have, because again, I know a lot of you might have individual questions about this, but if you get your ducks in a row, your promo partners, your speaking content partners, your coordination, volunteers, and sales partners, I guarantee you can have a successful event. And that's where the money's made. It's where the sales happen. It's what's going to determine whether or not you can make it in this industry. And that's my hope for all of you, is that you understand it is possible for you to make it in this industry, to help people understand what you do, to turn your mouth into money, to turn your brain into money, to turn your skills, your stories, your experience into a successful business. That's what I want to help you do. That's what we do here on Expert Momentum. Help you get the momentum you need to be successful. My name's Ken Course. I am here every Tuesday talking about that expert momentum, talking about turning your brain into programs, into events, into training, into whatever you can to make some money, to be successful. Go out and get them, Tiger. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week.